Hello, Tough Crowd fans. This is J-Fi, and this is the J-Files for Tuesday, August 26th. Our Fab Five today includes Girls Trip Rehash from Rhode Island in the past month, our travel challenges, our Connecticut pack up, and how are we going to get everything back to Florida, the latest challenge I have with Walmart and PayPal. I'm battling a war on many fronts with fraud recently. And Walmart, we ride at dawn. And the last topic is 10X Health. I just joined their system and had a genetic methylation test, it's called, as well as blood test, waiting for those results. And then they supposedly give you recommendations based on that. Before we get started, just some updates from recent days. I went to get my blood taken for this new test and went to a LabCorp. They set up the whole appointment through 10X. So it was very efficient, and it was a LabCorp that was in Walgreens. That was super easy, super quick. I just wasn't prepared that they wanted to take 6 vials of blood. Then they have to put you in this high chair. Why, when you're getting blood taken, are they putting you in this high chair so that if you did faint, you're going to fall to your death potentially? So I get there, I scooch up into this high bar-sized chair, and then they put the arm thing down so you have your arm to rest there. Obviously, it's so that they can access your arm more easily, I guess. And then she says, "Are you okay with getting your blood taken?" And my initial thought is, no, I'm never okay with getting my blood taken. I'm always one step away from throwing up or fainting. But she says, oh, you have to have 6 vials. So I said, no, I'm great. All good. So the whole time she's doing it, I'm just thinking, I have to back up what I've said. And I'm thinking, don't faint, don't faint, don't faint, don't faint, the whole time. And slightly nauseous, but I did make it through, thank goodness, and they didn't need to call an ambulance for me. I did feel slightly woozy after, so I didn't work out, and we shall see what the results are. So going back a couple of weeks, my good friend group that I've had for 30 years plus, we had a little reunion at my friend Lynn's house in Rhode Island, and we went to see my friend Gloria in Newport. So we set up a couple of beach days, and our meetup in Newport was to go to Gloria's house and then do lunch, shopping, etc. So we get up at Lynn's house, and we all happen to be dressed like we just came off of the Below Deck yacht series. For some reason, we don't know why. So we're joking around, we're yelling ahoy and pretending that we just got off of a yacht. I know it's silly, but that was our joke for the day. We're on our way to Newport. I give Lynn the directions, or the address, let's say. Let's clarify that, because I'm horrible with directions. My family would say, why are you letting letting her show anybody where to go? Give her the address. She types it into her phone. I did not type it in. We're driving. We get to Newport. It's like a 50-minute drive. We're driving, and Lynn keeps commenting, wow, she lives on the other side of town. Wow, she must really live in the point of Newport. And I have not been to Newport. So I haven't been to Newport in 15 years probably. And Lynn keeps saying, wow, we're going through the middle of town. She must live on the other side of town. We're going farther and farther outside of town. And she's saying, oh, we must be going to the point in Newport. I don't know what any of this means. I haven't been there in forever, and I haven't really studied the geography of Newport. We're driving. The houses are getting bigger and more grand, almost like the Hamptons. And we're thinking, wow, this is very nice out here. We can't wait to see our house. So we get to the number that Google Maps shows us. We turn into this long driveway with crushed stone and pull up to a garage. This is a 4-story house towards the water, beautiful, shingled. We see a Range Rover and assume that's Gloria's because Gloria's had a Range Rover in the past. Great. We all get out, and because of our outfits and we've been joking around all day, we're yelling, ahoy, 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 as we get out and going towards a door. Then there's a fence around a pool. So we're looking over the fence and thinking, wow, that's a beautiful pool, and knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, and yelling ahoy the whole time. We're just about to actually open the door and go in to try to see where Gloria is, and or go into the pool area that way because we're not sure if there's another door, when a guy comes out of the door with AirPods in and says, "Can I help you? It took me a long time. I'm sorry to come down from the 4th floor. I was on a Zoom call." So we don't recognize this guy. We have no idea who he is. And immediately we say, we think we're at the wrong house. We're assuming, though, that we're next door to Gloria's house. We're not realizing we're 15 minutes away from her house, which is back in town. This guy tells us that he's lived there for 2 months and that he had somebody go to their house by mistake. And we were going to engage him more and hear more about his house and what he thinks about it when he said, "I'm on a Zoom call. I've got to go. My wife will be home shortly," which I think was a nice way of saying, "See ya." So we got back in the car and made our way back to Gloria's, and she has an amazing house in Newport, right downtown. And we got a beautiful tour, and we had a fabulous lunch in Newport and did some shopping at these beautiful stores. They have some really good shopping there. It's unique, which is not common these days. Most places you go around the country, it's the same shopping they have everywhere. And nobody takes over a store like Gloria, and she is such a good stylist that I just try on whatever she tells me to try on, and I usually end up loving it, and I would have never tried it on my own. I did find the dress for Emma's wedding in Newport. Shocking. They did not have my size, so I had to order it online in a different size after. It's here, and I've made the commitment, so exciting. Keeping it under lock and key until the wedding. But that was very exciting. I had gotten to the point with some of these dresses that I was thinking that I was going to have a rib removed to have any of them fit. For some reason, my rib cage feels tight in a lot of these dresses, and I guess it's a thing. Some people have that, but then the rest of the dress is too big, so that's my struggle. Gloria says it's all in my head, but I definitely have a rib cage problem. That was part of our girls' trip. We spent some more time in Watch Hill and got to spend some time at the shops and the beach there. Lunch or dinner at the Ocean House. That was beautiful. And speaking of Newport, I don't know if everybody has seen the viral video from these two women in Newport. It was August 14th, and it just came out a few days ago. The body cam footage from the police that came to take these two women out of this restaurant. It's called the Clark Cookhouse, and it's in Newport. We happened to eat dinner there when we were there. So we had dinner. We have a picture of all of us in front of this restaurant, but we did not get kicked out by the police nor arrested. These two women, who I guess are around 30-something years old, I don't know what precipitated the call to the police, but they are in this Clark Cookhouse. I don't know if they had dinner, if they were just at the bar, but the police come, or they're called by somebody at the restaurant. And I don't know if the police tape or the body cam footage got released because some other citizen saw what was going on and asked for it. But in any event, it got released, and it's gone viral all over the country because it's so crazy. There's one woman, Devin, who's an assistant AG, which means she works for the Attorney General of Rhode Island. She's not an elected position, but she is a civil servant and an attorney in the AG's office prosecuting criminals. Keep that in mind. And then her friend, Veronica, I'm not sure what her deal is, but she, I think, was the worst of the two. So the police come and you see the police saying, let's go, let's go. And they're obviously completely trashed. And Devin is saying, you didn't tell me we were trespassing, so you can't kick us out. You have to tell me you're trespassing. And the policeman says to the manager, are they trespassing? Can I kick them out? And he says, yes, please. In fact, he makes like a begging, praying sign to them. And they're arguing. The friend saying she's an attorney. The AG girl is saying you have to turn off your body cam if I ask you to, which is not true. It's only if you're a victim or a witness that you can request a police officer to turn off their body cam. So there's also Veronica's husband or boyfriend is there. Keep that in mind. So they won't leave. So the police have had enough and they take Devin into custody. She's yelling, I'm an AG, I'm an AG, I'm an AG, I'm a A. And then he slams the door on her in the police car. She's in the police car. So she doesn't get to get in her final G. That went viral. Then they go to Veronica, who goes nuts, as if you're trying to put a cat in a cage, and is screaming at her boyfriend, husband, Dave, babe, Dan, whatever his name is, and he's trying to reason with her and the police, but it's way too late because they could have just walked out of the restaurant and we wouldn't have had any of this happen. The AG girl and Veronica obviously thought they were more important and can do whatever they want because they were telling the police officer that. So Veronica goes nuts. They try to cuff her. She gets out of the cuffs and runs away. They grab her. They put her back in the cuffs. They get her in the police car. They can't shut the door because she's kicking the door and screaming at her husband, babe, babe, babe. And they finally get her into custody. And then reportedly, she also had some sort of tussle when they went to book her at the police station. Now, they could have avoided all this if they had just left to begin with, but they decided that they thought they were better than everybody else because she's an AG, and they could use that superiority to walk all over these police officers. Now, if she were just a girl that had too much to drink, I would feel sorry for her that she got into this situation. But the fact that they wanted to hold this power over this police officer's head who was just doing his job, because obviously everybody there wanted them out for some reason, that's the problem. So the AG himself has come out and said he's embarrassed. She should be embarrassed. She embarrassed the office. But he suspended her without pay for an investigation, which I think is a cover for him not to fire her, because he's saying it's very hard to find attorneys for these positions, which I think is a preposterous reason to keep her. She's prosecuting criminals. How can she go into a court with a straight face when she treated a police officer like this when he was just doing the job that the restaurant requested of him? So we'll see what happens with that. But that was all over. So if you get a chance, go on YouTube or TikTok and you can see it because it's absolutely shocking. Our travel recently has been actually pretty calm. Maisie and I flew to Oregon for a golf tournament, and the hotel there was nice. It was a casino and an Indian reservation. The issues I have with travel recently are more the people that are traveling with you. So we have these people that have huge backpacks. I don't know why that's a thing now. I know they're easier to carry, but it's these backpacks that are like they're going to hike Mount Kilimanjaro and they stick out like a huge hump out of people's backs. And when they walk down the airline row, the airline aisle, they turn around and hit everybody with it as they go to get into their seat. As they go to put their luggage up on top, they're smacking everybody in the head without any thought or consequence. So I'm not sure what the answer to this is, but it seems to be a thing lately. And so since I'm an aisle seat girl, I generally take cover when I see a backpack person coming. On this flight, I saw from the beginning, I was sitting in my seat and I could see a gentleman enter. As you know, when you sit in your seat and you're like waiting for the middle seat person and you're like, don't be it, don't be it, don't be it. How about you? You'd be good. And I see this guy coming. He's got a huge backpack with almost like a frame on it, like you'd go on a huge backpacking trip. And it has the waist cinch that ties with like pads to secure the backpack. Those are not tied and they're flapping out to the side. I can see him as he walks. Each flap is hitting somebody in the head on each side of the aisle as he walks. Flap, 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 flap. And he has no regard, no care, not even cognizant, and everybody's getting mad. You can see him coming by all the way down the aisle to past my aisle, and I was able to dodge it. But it's incredible to me that there's no rule on the size of these backpacks, and people have no idea that they're bopping everybody in the head. The other observation I made was that they have all these rules about your baggage you can bring on. So they want you to fit it in that little measurement device they have, or you can't bring it on if it can't fit in the overhead compartment. Some airlines are more stringent than others. But I've noticed that people stuff these things full so that they're 40-pound bags, and these people are rolling them on. And then people that can't even get out of their car, they have to go through a drive-through to get a soda or a coffee, all of a sudden are going to do a squat, lift, bench press with a 40-pound bag way over their head into the overhead compartment. I don't know about you, but every time I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for something to plummet onto my head, and I'm constantly holding my hands up and hoping that somebody helps them. But it's always that critical time where, are they going to actually make it? Are they going to make it? Or is it going to fall and kill somebody? So I think that should be like a bench press test maybe, versus whether the bag fits in that little slot, is whether they can actually lift it over their head. If they can't, they have to check it. That's what I would think. The other observation I've been making is the airline restrooms. It seems like you need a NASA astronaut certification to use the bathroom these days. They have the weirdest selection or the weirdest arrangement in these bathrooms. It's very confusing. When you go to open the bathroom on some of these newer planes, it's not even clear if when you go there, it's sometimes near the kitchen for the airplane, if you're opening a cabinet or if that's actually the restroom. And then once you get in there, where is everything? Everything's got a weird label. It's very odd. I found myself wiping my hands on a toilet seat cover because I thought it was the paper towels. So I would hope that they could make those more uniform or dumb it down for those of us and just put things like paper towel, seat covers, whatever it is. And speaking of the middle seat, I had a flight where I thought I had made it without anybody in the middle seat. There was a small guy in the window seat, and this huge guy is coming down and at the last minute and says, "That's my seat." Great. So I get up, I let him in. I'm thinking, I am going to be squished for the entire time, but at least I have an aisle seat. Well, somehow this was a magic middle seat. He sat down in the seat and everything he had went forward and did not spill over the seat. Shocking. He caused some other disturbances because he was yelling about the pilot and something else because we had a delay. He was somewhat obnoxious, but he did quiet down when he realized he didn't have any takers around him. But it is somewhat of a magic seat, so I appreciate that on the airlines. My biggest fight right now is with Walmart and PayPal. They allowed somebody at Walmart to log into my account. I haven't clicked on anything. I am very careful about not clicking on any links, but I did go to Walmart when I was in Oregon. It was the only place to shop. Maisie needed some face wash, placed an online order for pickup, went to the store, picked it up. That was it. 2 days later, and I don't know if it had to do with my visit to the store, if it had to do with logging on to my Walmart account, but I had PayPal as the payment on there because I thought it required somebody to log in to PayPal after they logged into Walmart. So it seems double safe, right? Well, somebody places an order for 2 iPads, dog bones, and a tongue scraper to be delivered to Chicago twice. One of the orders is canceled. I don't know if they canceled it, if Walmart figured it out, but one of the orders is delivered to an address in Chicago that somebody was able to add to my Walmart account. I have a picture of their front door, the address, and everything. Now, somehow Walmart let them add an order or add an address without any kind of verification. Then PayPal let it go through without any additional login. I got no text alerts. I got no email alerts, nothing. Now, if somebody's adding an address, whenever I do that to send a gift to somebody, they make you go through 10-step verification. You have to type the credit card back in. Well, Walmart and PayPal are playing dumb on this. Walmart, it was a foreign service person, and he kept saying, I hope you're not going to hold this against me personally, and which is quite ridiculous. It has nothing to do with him personally. It has to do with their policy and how they let somebody place this order for $700 that I'm still waiting for a refund on. So I've now gone to Bank of America and complained to them to reject the PayPal account transfer. I've taken all my accounts off of PayPal. So I would recommend, based on the research I've done and the problems people have had with PayPal, is to take all of your accounts, your bank accounts and credit cards off of PayPal. Just get off of PayPal altogether. You're way better off just putting your credit card number into a website and paying that way, because you can always dispute a charge on your credit card, and the credit card companies are way ahead on fraud alerts. So connected to that, within the same day, I had Citibank call me and say, oh, on your Best Buy card, somebody tried to place 4 different $1,000 orders at Best Buy. It was not I. So I said that. They canceled the orders. They didn't let them do that. They were trying to send it to a different address. Now, I don't know why Walmart can't do that. I don't know why PayPal can't do that, but it seems above them. It's on Walmart and PayPal. I have filed complaints at the Better Business Bureau, and I am taking them on. So I'm looking for my $691, and I'm not going to settle for anything less. Then somebody tried to put a gift card in a Revolve. Revolve is an online women's shopping store, and they tried to put a gift card with an email to some UK address. Revolve was onto that. I reset my password there. And Bank of America is recommending that I cancel my bank account. So I have to start a whole new bank account, which is a whole nother thing, because you have to change any kind of credits and debits you have coming out of that account. It's a huge process, but better safe than sorry. And that's what they're recommending, because they said they can't fully protect otherwise. So that was, and then also somebody tried to log on to Amazon and use Klarna, which is like a pay over time payment app, which I've never used and never used on Amazon, but Amazon was onto that quickly. So it seems like everybody has their act together except Walmart and PayPal. So my advice is to avoid them at all costs. In the midst of that, we have a couple of weeks left here in Connecticut. Maisie's off at tournaments, but we're trying to figure out how to fit a square peg in a round hole, which is all the stuff that we have up here and accumulated up here that we now need to get back to Florida. Now, H has said that, how did we get so much stuff up here? And I said, we had a car shipped up here and I put a lot of stuff in the car. We had somewhat of a dispute over that, but then he had to agree that and recollect that, yes, we did put a lot of stuff in the car and we're not sending that car back. So that's a whole car full of stuff, plus any stuff we've bought. I had him bring some other stuff when he went to Florida. So here we are. Every time I open a drawer, I think, oh, where am I going to put that? So I have a couple of suitcases I can bring on the plane with Leo and me, and Leo gets 2 suitcases, so I'll bring 2 duffel bags for Maisie. But I still have overflow. So I'm going to ship some dresses, and then H is going to bring 2 suitcases back with him from Florida when he comes down to fill the next time he goes down. So I'm just determining what I want when. And then Maisie had said to me, the lesson learned is we need 1/4 of the stuff that we brought up with us. But we really weren't sure what our summer was going to look like, what kind of events we needed things for. So next summer, I hope Maisie reminds me that I need way fewer items than I brought up this year. So that's a big challenge right now. And the guy at Pack Mail, I went in there to just get an estimate on how much it would be to ship clothes, thinks I'm absolutely nuts. I'm always in there with some bizarre request. And so I said, how much would a 20 by 20 by 20 box? I pointed to one of the boxes he had there. And this was at 5:37 p.m. last night when he closes at 6. And he saw me come in and he went, oh, hi, because he knows I'm going to have some bizarre request. I said, let me ask you a question. And he was like, oh, great. So I said, 20 by 20 by 20 to Palm Beach. What's it going to cost? And I guessed 20 pounds. I don't know. But I bought one of those luggage scale things that you hang the luggage from on Amazon that's coming today, so I can weigh my luggage and decide what I can bring where and how. But it's $156 for a 20 by 20 by 20 box with 20 pounds in it. That seems exorbitant. But so that's why I'm going to leave it for H to bring down. And Natalie had said when we were discussing it, she said, good luck to you letting Dad pack those suitcases. So it's going to be all like workout clothes, things that I don't care if get a little rumpled. So yeah, that's the latest thing. And I'm sort of obsessed with it. I have test packages everywhere as to how many clothes are going to go there. And then when I go to wear something, I realized I've already packed it. So that's my challenge for this week and next week as we get ready to go back. I have Emma's shower coming up next weekend in Duxbury, which will be fun. So I need to keep out a dress for that. And then coming back, getting a headshot from my office the next day. Long story as to why it's happening on a Sunday. And then heading back to Florida that week after. And the last of the Fab 5 today is 10X Health. So 10X Health is a company that I'm not sure who started it, but Gary Braca is a health guru online. He has a lot of followers. And so there's certain people that have done this 10X Health system. So it's a genetic methylation test. And it's a swab that you put in your cheek, like DNA swab, like they do on CSI. You send it in, and then they give you these markers and give you a supplement list that they recommend. So certain supplements are not recommended based on your genetic profile, and certain supplements are recommended, as well as other lifestyle factors. So I got the initial report and I have to go over it with them online, but they offered me a blood test, which is an accessory test, which tells you other things that you can do for your health, exercise, nutrition wise, supplement wise, and that was at a discount. So I couldn't resist that. So once I get the results from that, which I had that blood test done today, I will have an online session with them and I'll see what they're about. I know they want to sell you supplements, but I already spend a lot of money on supplements as it is. So I feel like I'd like to have some guidance on what I should be taking. So that is about it for today. We will be back this week. I am obsessed with the Adelson trial. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I know you all know I was into Karen Reed, or I'm a readster, as Maisie would say. I think that's a good term. Donna Adelson is a Florida grandmother that's on trial for conspiring to have her son-in-law killed. He was killed. Her son is already in jail, as well as two shooters. I guess one shooter, one driver, and the girlfriend of the son who arranged all of it. They're on trial. They've already been convicted, sorry. The grandmother's on trial, and some of the stuff coming out in this trial that has not come out in any of the other trials is absolutely unbelievable. So today, the daughter, whose husband was the one murdered, her boyfriend at the time of the murder was on the stand today, and they're just unbelievable testimony. Some of it is really shocking, and the family dynamics are hair-raising. So I'm going to talk about that and some other true crime stuff that's going on right now, including the email dump from the prosecutor in the Karen Reed trial, a case that's been going on out in the Midwest of a guy who found his daughter with this pedophile that had attacked her before, and I think he had been convicted of attacking her, but he was out and he grabbed her again, and the dad found her with him and killed the guy. And so the dad's on trial, and so everybody has a lot of sympathy for the dad. And then we'll talk about some TV stuff this week, and that's about it. Hope to see you soon, and thanks for tuning in.